I am here with one of my clients, Christina Lawrence.
Hi.
Christina, can you tell the world who you are, what you do, what you're up to in the world?
Of course. Yeah. First of all, thank you for having me for this call today, Bissy. I appreciate your time and allowing me to kind of share my story. So hopefully it can inspire somebody else to take action. So I'm the bio writer for business owners. So what I do is I help coaches, entrepreneurs, and CEOs share the brilliance of who they are with the world through well-crafted bios. But I wasn't always a bio writer. I was a broadcaster first, which kind of sharpened my storytelling skills. And I've always been a natural storyteller. I love helping people dive into their stories, kind of get a bit vulnerable and uncomfortable and see the value in where they've been and how they can use that in their marketing to connect with their customers in a way that's not sleazy or slimy or feels like it's taking advantage, because story is really what connects all of us, and it's how you and I met. So it really makes sense to help people dive into what they're doing, because they get a better look at themselves and they can more clearly see the value that they provide to the world. So I hope that was a succinct definition. Sometimes I can.
Yeah, the only thing Christina is missing in that what she's up to in the world is she is badass at what she does. She did
Well,
my bio and you got to check it out. It is incredible. So she is brilliant at what she does. So Christina joined me in the 12-week accelerator, the first round in 2020.
that's
Right?
right.
So let's just go back to pre you registering for that. What was going on in your life? What was happening? What were you feeling?
Oh,
What was going on?
yeah, just married to fear. Married to fear, really. Waking up in the morning, not knowing, I had kind of a sense of financial stability, but in terms of emotional stability and where I belonged in the world was kind of a shaky thought. And I was so fascinated by the work that you were doing when I created your bio, and following you and watching your videos and seeing the impact that you made on other people. And one thing that really struck me was how fear can masquerade as other things. It's not necessarily a feeling of anxiety or a feeling of, sweat gathering in your crevices. Sometimes it can be as simple as just a resistance thought, like, oh, there's no way I could possibly do that. I don't have enough skills. Fear can be doubt. It can be confusion. It can be so many things. And I'd realized that I'd been living in fear for a really long time. And I wanted to find a way to not eliminate it, because deep down I know fear is a natural emotion, but maybe navigate it a little bit better and know what to do when it comes up.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So you and I had talked about your program, and I had resistance at first, because I wasn't sure where I was going to get the money to do the program, and also I wasn't sure I was ready to do the work, if that makes sense. And I think when you do a program like this, you said it so beautifully. You said you have to be willing to let the work you. Mm-hmm. And that really resonated with me when we did finally join up together, and I did decide to go with the program. But, in my personal life, I was going through a divorce. I still am, but I'm doing paperwork now. So there was that, and moving to another place, starting over in my career, because I'd had a few little leads, but now it was completely up to me. My life was completely up to me. And that frightened me, as a lot of people going through this situation can relate to. Restarting your life is a very uncertain thing, and there's a lot of emotions that can come up with that. And I wanted to have a way to navigate them in a more healthy way, in a way that was true to who I am.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. So you mentioned, so you had a lot of moving pieces, just a lot of
Yes,
moving pieces in your life, professionally and personally. And you mentioned
yes.
how fear can be doubt, it can be anxiety. Like, how did that manifest for you, even in your professional world, in your professional life?
Oh, well, every time I got a new client, I would be ecstatic at first. And this happened with you too, full disclosure here. Um, every time I get a new client, I would be ecstatic. And then a day later, or even a couple days later, this feeling of dread would sit in. Like, I can't do this. Why did I agree to this? I can't do this. Just this real shrinking, this physical shrinking. And it really, it affected my sales calls, because obviously nobody wants to buy from somebody who isn't rooted in their confidence and believes in what they're selling. And it's taken a lot of exterior feedback from others, showing me what value I provide to help me see what value I can provide to customers. So this has been a real learning experience, but the best kind of learning experience.
Yeah, it's interesting you talk about how, and I know a lot of people watching probably experience this, you're ecstatic about the client, about the win, about the celebration, and then all of a sudden there's this cloud of doubt. Wait a minute, can you do it? Can you not do it? And I like how you did say that your sales calls started to, it affected your sales calls, because one of the things that I work with my clients through is this notion that everything that you experiencing outside of you is simply a reflection of what's going on inside of you. So even though you may not have been showing up on those calls shaking in your boots, but it's the energetics, they could feel it. They
Yeah,
could feel it, and then you wonder what's going on.
exactly. They pick up on it, and then they wonder why what you're saying isn't necessarily in line with what you're projecting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's part of the things that we work through in our time together. It's getting centered into who you truly are and walking in alignment with that, so that you're showing up powerfully and unapologetically. So I wanted to ask you, how many times did you think about, or how much time passed before you decided to sign on to the 12-week accelerator?
Oh, months. Yeah, months. All full disclosure, months. I was sitting on that pokey fence for a while, um, partly due to finances and partly due to, I think a lot of us are afraid of our own potential and afraid of our own greatness, because when we embrace that, there's no more excuses.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of people who come to you are, myself included, I just wanted to break past those excuses. They were old, they were tired, and they weren't getting me what I wanted, which was financial independence. And you know, you can wake up in the morning with the best of intentions, but if you're not acting in alignment with who you want to be and who you want to become, you can try to manifest all you want, but you're creating a block. And that's what I did. You know, I was busy, you know, trying to help so many people and give away the farm and just do so much for everybody for free, that I didn't realize my own value necessarily, and I didn't respect what I did as much as other people did. I thought, oh, this is easy. Anybody can write a bio, right? Wrong. No, not everybody can write a bio. And I hesitated because I didn't want to let you down. That's a
Mm.
big reason why I didn't sign up at first, because I didn't want to let another person down. And you pointed out to me something so eloquent. You said, you know, that's great that you don't want to disappoint me, but what about yourself? And it wasn't, that was an aha for me. I was so busy trying to people please and be who I thought people wanted me to be, that I really was not paying attention to what I wanted. And this is such a universal story, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So many people that come to me because they're so tired of helping everybody else. And they have not been including themselves in the conversations, and they don't even know how.
Yeah.
They no longer know how. They no longer even know what they want, what they like, let alone how to incorporate that into their lives. So yes, I know a lot of people watching this probably know that or experiencing that. You talk about not letting me down. How many times do we make promises to ourselves and then you turn around and break the promises to yourself? You know, so how do you feel looking back now? How do you feel about the lost time, those months that you stayed on the pokey fence without, you know, registering?
The first thing that comes up is a little bit of embarrassment as I turn red, right? But I think, and we've talked about this before, I think everything happens in the right divine time and space. And I feel like when we met last year, last May, I needed to connect with you and you needed to connect with me. And there was bigger forces at work than just the two of us, right? Whatever your belief system is, I just believe that people and circumstances and programs are brought into our lives when we need them, but sometimes it takes us, I can only speak for myself, but sometimes it takes me a little while to actually act.
Yeah.
I like to think, I like to mull things over. I like to plan for the worst case, the best case, the medium. I like to have 5 different plans, but you can really do yourself a disservice by just sitting there and trying to anticipate what will happen instead of just acting. And fearless living has taught me that acting is the crucial step. You know, you can visualize it all you want, you can conceptualize it all you want, but if you're not willing to make that first step, make that call and say, hey Bissy, I want to join your program, you're still going to be in the same position you were a year ago. And to be honest, you don't want to be there anymore. That's why you're watching these videos. That's why you're consuming this content, is because maybe you're fed up with yourself and fed up with the way you've been acting out of alignment with who you want to be. And sometimes we need a guide to help bring us back to that person. And that was my experience in this program.
Yeah. How many times are people planning? You're thinking, I got to get it right. I gotta know all the steps A through Z before I take a step, you know, and you're just, before you know it, time is gone, energy's gone, everything's just, you know, and yet you have this thing on your heart that you want to put out there, and that just keeps getting delayed. Just keeps getting delayed over and over and over again. So I want to go back to one of the things you said, one of your excuses, you called it. One of your excuses was, you know, money. I didn't have the money. I thought there was a financial piece to it, even though one of your biggest goals was financial independence. Tell us what happened, because this is very interesting, because I remember our sales call when the day you actually did sign up, and you did say, I have a feeling, Bissy, I just feel like I'm not going to be able to pay you. I just don't know. I'm not going to be able to pay you, and I don't want that. And obviously it fed into the, I don't want to let you down. I don't want to damage this relationship we've already built. But there was something I said, and I drive that through to a lot of my clients and people that come into my sphere, that there's something powerful that happens in your yes. There's something that shifts for you when you take a stand for yourself, when you take a stand for your dreams. Things just shift. Please tell us what happened in the first, I think it's the first week, maybe week and a half, joining the program.
You love this story, and I love that you asked me this. So after, I want to say, first of all, during my call with you, Bissy, and I'll share it with your audience here, I fully disclosed. You asked me, like, how are you feeling? I said, I'm scared shitless. I am scared shitless. Like, I don't know how I'm going to pay for this. I don't know where I'm going to find the time to do this, but I know I need to do this. So I guess I'm just doing it. And we went out for a really nice, me and my partner, we went out for a nice dinner after, and it was fantastic. It was a way to celebrate, even though I didn't know all the steps involved. And that's always been a hindrance for me, is not having a perfect plan in place. But as it so happens, the first coaching call, the first group coaching call, I was a bit of an emotional mess. You know, I was upset and I was worried that I wouldn't be able to make a living doing what I do. I wondered if this was all just a pipe dream. And I had the courage to attend a meeting with my local Chamber of Commerce chair, and she actually wanted a bio right then and there. So rather than wait and book an appointment to do an interview, I just did it right there. I said, well, I'm here, you're here, you want to do this? Like, let's just do it. And I just asked her questions, and it was very natural and joyful, and there was ease in it. And the ease was the different part. And when you stop resisting that you call it your heart's calling or your soul's calling, when you stop resisting that, that's when things start to kind of line up that are hard to explain, but they're joyful to explain. And in my first 2 weeks working with you, I signed with the Chamber of Commerce. I signed the Chamber of Commerce as a bio client, and they wanted another bio for their incoming executive board chair, which was a huge feather in my cap, coming back to my hometown and I knew people, but making those connections again, connecting with new people and putting my name out there as somebody who writes bios for a living. Even the Chamber of Commerce chair said, I had no idea there was somebody out there who did this, who could do this for me. And she said, thank you. Like, I'm so happy you exist. And that to me was, yes, that's confirmation that I'm doing A, what I need to be doing, and B, that this is something people need. This isn't just some silly, wacky idea I'm trying to pursue and make happen. It's already happening.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and then, I went to a few networking events after that. And again, clients kept rolling in after I started relaxing more, embracing my role as the bio writer, and asking people, how can I help you with this? How can I be of support to you in this process? If you want my support. If not, I'll just shoot the breeze with you, and we'll talk about ideas. But really detaching from the outcome has been a huge, and that's hard to do when you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to make money. But when you're attached to that outcome, that's when, if somebody is not quite ready, you take it personally, and it's really not a personal thing. I mean, if you had taken it personally that I had taken so long to sign up, we wouldn't be having this conversation. You would have given up on me a long time ago, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes, I love that story for a couple of different reasons. All of a sudden, this fear of, I don't think I'm going to have the money to pay you. All of a sudden, by week 2, things are just rolling in. The difference between your yes and trying to plan everything to know what's the outcome going to be. And that's it. That's this detaching from the outcome, letting the chips fall where they may and embracing who you are, your value, what you bring to the table, which is part of what we do in the accelerator, getting you connected to the truth of who you are, because your fear says you showing up as you are is way too risky. Therefore, you need to go do this dog and pony show and show up like Tom, Cindy, and whoever else. And the people that you're meant to serve, like you said, the guy says, I didn't even know that someone that you existed, that you could even help me. And this is what happens. This is what fear does. So tell us about your business today and your life now.
Sure. Yeah. So my business is thriving. I'm getting new clients, and lots of people are interested in working with me, which is great. I love meeting new people, and I've been getting corporate clients as well. So that's a bonus, right? At the heart of what I do, I love to help people share what they love about what they do with the world. That really is the heart of the essence of what I do. And I'm going backwards a little bit, but in our work together, we discovered our essential natures, and mine is loving. And I had resistance to that because it felt soft. It felt kind of weak. as an entrepreneur and a business owner, I pride myself on, you know, being pretty left-brained, you know, logical, level-headed most of the time. But loving translates into what I do as well, because I'm helping people rediscover, in a lot of cases, rediscover the love they have for what they do and the love they have for themselves. And that is really, that's some powerful stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. If you
In my life today, I mean, I'm independent. You know, my birthday's coming up in a few days, and I'm going to pay myself from my company for the first time in a very long time. And I figured my birthday is the perfect day to do that. So there's been a lot of shifting, a lot of releasing old beliefs that aren't really resonating anymore. One of them is I'm bothering people when I reach out to them. No, that's a load. That's fear.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what happens when you're able to recognize that voice of fear versus who you truly are.
And the biggest, one of the biggest things, I guess, that you've said that really touched me was, you are not your fear. I've spent so much time believing that this is just who I am. This is just who I am, and I just have to deal with it. And, you know, just, it's like holding a beach ball underwater. I use this analogy all the time. It's like holding a beach ball underwater. I mean, you can do it, but it gets exhausting after a while. You get tired, you can't, eventually it comes up and you have to face it one way or another. But just understanding that they're two separate things. Fear is not a part of you. It's an experience you have, but it's not at the heart of who you are.
Yeah. And you touch on something that I'm sure a lot of people resonate with, just thinking that I am who I am. You know, it's like I'm not unchangeable. You know, unchangeable people think that this is it. You know, I'm Italian, therefore I speak this way, or I'm Nigerian, therefore I can do this, you know. And what people do not understand is you're moldable. You can choose new beliefs that help you move forward. And that's exactly what we do in the accelerator, and implement new skills and tools to help you move forward. So if you could say anything to someone who's considering joining the accelerator or just working with me, and they are where you were, where they're pondering on, maybe I should take another month and do it myself, or, you know, I don't know, maybe I'm a little too scared to know what it is to find out what's going to be revealed of me. I'm too scared to know what that is. What would you say to them?
Well, first of all, I get it. I totally get it. Like I said, I think we're afraid of our own potential sometimes, because that means that we have no more excuses. And I guess the thing that I would say is, understand that knowledge is power. And the more knowledge you have about yourself and about how you operate, how your fear works, how your joy works, which you learn in this program. You have your wheel of fear and your wheel of freedom. You learn so much about yourself that it's like you can't unsee it once you see it. And that sounds scary, and it is. It is from the side of the unknown. But if you hesitate and you wait, nothing's going to change. And that's the harsh truth of it, is that you can wait and you can try to have an aha moment on your own. But accountability is so important when you're doing personal deep work like this, because it's easy to give up on yourself. It's easy to revert back to your old habits and your old patterns. I talked about this with a friend of mine who's also a coach, and I said, it's not a shameful thing to need accountability. And I struggled with this for years. I thought, I'm a go-getter, like I'm a type A, like I'm gonna do this myself, I'm gonna do everything myself, I don't need anybody. That's not a healthy way to live. That's really not, like, why don't you just go in an isolation ward in a jail then, right? Like, everybody.
You were in the accelerator in the middle of a whole bunch of other ladies.
Yeah.
lady. So how was that experience for you?
Yeah, it was intimidating, but it was really great because we all come from different backgrounds and different experiences, obviously, but a lot of us are struggling with the same things, you know, feeling maybe not good enough or not smart enough, and these are all just symptoms of fear. Even being angry all the time, you know, I lost my dad almost 3 years ago, and the grief that has come with that and the anger that's come with that has been interesting to deal with. And I dealt a little bit with it during our work together, but there's just so many ways that you can sabotage yourself, that having that accountability and having that group to support you when you stumble is crucial. It really is crucial, because there are going to be days where you look at yourself and you look at the habits and the life you've created for yourself, and you think, how did I get here? And that's okay. Everybody feels that way, but you don't have to go it alone. And when you go it alone, it's just that much harder.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, yeah, it's thank you so much, Christina. You know, if you're watching this and you're thinking, how am I going to do it? You know, you just heard it from Christina, and I'm telling you, I know you sharing this, a lot of people are like, thank you. I'm sure people are grateful that you're able to share this with them. At the same time, I'm saying thank you to you, because I know what it takes to dive in, to go through the dark parts, the not so pretty parts of yourself, to dive in. You know, it is scary, as you've said, it is uncomfortable. You don't know what's on the other side. So it takes a lot of courage, you know, being able to unveil, just reveal yourself in front of other people and people holding you accountable. It is some scary stuff. So thank you so much for going through the work and being willing to even share it with us. Thank you so much. Any last words for our audience?
Just really give some thought to the person you want to be a year from now and how you plan to get there, because life is very quick, it's very fleeting, and it's such a cliche, but life's too short to live out of alignment with who you really are.
Thank you. I couldn't have said that better. Thank you so much, Christina.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to just share and hopefully answer some questions that people might have about your program, and help ease their fears a little bit.
Yes, for sure. Thank you.